For the record, I think we're gonna truly see Trump's true colors as a presidential leader leading up to January 2021 when Joe Biden officially takes over. And it all depends on basically how concerned they are about the US folks, since technically Trump is still in charge, and how much they want to push this bill. But from what I've read so far, Trump and the administration are backing off and are pretty much leaving it to Secretary Mitch McConnell to, I guess, decide factors and things with Nancy Pelosi. And to me, it shows kind of like a sore loser attempt, but at the same time, like, I don't want to jump the gun so soon, because you never know. He could potentially change his mind and realize that he's still got to do something right. At least leave on a good mark. Because at the end of the day, if you still wanted to run for president, technically you could still run in the next 4 years. So what you do now could predictate what you plan on doing in the future. And that's wholeheartedly what I believe that Trump has to decide within the next couple of months. Will he step in and actually do something with the last remaining months of his term, or will he officially submit and pretty much be a sore pouting loser that he no longer gets to lead the country? You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, if you look at it in a vision that it's bigger than your ego and bigger than your pride, you're definitely going to still want to do something and get things done. I have no doubt that if this was Obama losing to Trump right now, you know what I mean, and Trump was the president-elect and ready to take office in January like Joe Biden is, and Obama has the last few months remaining, I'm pretty sure he would definitely push heavy and try to really play moderator to both of the, House representatives, the Senate, and, the House. Because honestly, that's the best way you can really do as a president, is really moderate both parties and try to get them to understand a similar goal, which Trump has failed to do with pointing fingers to Nancy Pelosi, which, like I said, it's very immature, very brash, and really just, you know what I mean? Like, it's just wrong, man, in general, when you got a whole country of people really depending on really some type of financial aid and relief to help them out. Like, you shouldn't take it so lightly. And given that you're a very wealthy person, that's a bad look. It really is. And honestly, that's the reason why he lost this debate, and he's got to own up to that. Otherwise, you know what I mean, people are going to still look at him the same way, And at the end of the day, if you really cared, that second check should have been arrived. It definitely should have been. And you could have avoided this. Instead of playing one side and just really siding with the easy side and pointing your fingers at, the opposition, you got to work things together, deviate whatever disagreements there are, and push what needs to be pushed out. To me, that's where I think Trump lost, and at the end of the day, he's going to have to face that. I mean, you can't talk about a bigger crisis where it would have been a huge factor in whether he got reelected or, like how the case is now. Pretty much having to serve his last few months and pretty much be out of office. So, we'll see, though. We'll see. I think people are going to probably look at Trump as the worst president in U.S. history. But I think there were opportunities where I think if he wanted to build on that and go in the future, he could also go down as one of the best too. He's really a polarizing figure. You can't debate that either way. Or people hate him, really, really hate him, or they really, really love him. To me, I feel indifferent. I felt like he was in a unique position to actually prove whatever, perspective people had on him, not just wrong, but like to see a different side of him, which at times he showed, like when he had a speech about his older brother telling him to never smoke or drink, and he never did that because of what it did to his brother, who he felt like was a better personality than him. Like, that's very humbling to say, very down to earth and humane. So I think personally, if we get that side of him more often, like I said, and he continues to show that and push it, really let his actions speak rather than his own mouth, I think absolutely, like, people can really defend him being the way he is, his personality, if he was so strongly on about focusing on the bigger picture. You know what I mean? Like, if you're that adamant in what you believe in, you push it and you do whatever it takes to get it done. So if he really believed about helping the U.S., really pushing that aid, like how he was talking about the second check was going to be generous and all that, he should have done everything he can. Even if he did not like Pelosi and what she was saying, sit there and moderate and work things together. You know, they were disagreeing. I get it. It's a huge amount of money of difference. You know, 2 trillion, I think, was it 1 or 2 trillion? I'm not too sure, but you know, I think they wanted 3.6 trillion, and then, you know, the Senate only, and Mitch McConnell was saying only 1.2 trillion. So like, there was a huge division about money, and they're trying to meet halfway. At the end of the day, just push out what needs to be pushed out first. If they both agree a 1,200 stimulus check needs to be pushed out, do that. Everything else, you can take care of it going forward, but at least get them the relief that they need right now. And then the more difficult things, you can focus it together. Stop trying to put everything together in one package. You know, sometimes you can't get a gift basket like that. Sometimes you just need something more urgent than the other. You need to get it shipped first. And that's what really the situation was with the stimulus check. You know, they both sides agreed, 1,200. If that was already verbally, you know, communicated between each side, sign that into law and get it done with, and then worry about unemployment and all the other benefits later on. Like, get that out the way, then discuss things first. You know what I mean? It's always like, take care of the easy stuff if you already made that conclusion. But to me, that's where like it failed, and Trump had an opportunity to be a factor in that and convince them to do that. Nothing happened. And to me, like I said, all we've seen publicly is him finger pointing. Now, behind closed doors, we don't know entirely for sure what really happened. But just based on what we see from the public communication and just really on social media and all that, Trump was all about more like making his side look right, more instead of, you know, really working things together with Pelosi. I'm not saying Pelosi is completely innocent. She's done a few shady things herself. We all know that. But at the same time, it's like, at the bigger picture, if they know it's beyond their ego and what they're asking for, it should have been done. Hands down. You know what I mean? Like, people have hearts. They care. And to me, that's what matters. If they both sides cared, they would have put their egos aside. And like I said, a neutral moderator, which Trump had the opportunity to do that, knowing that he wanted to help get reliefs to Americans. It could have been done. To me, Biden, I think for him to really capitalize on this before he actually takes office officially, get into contact, talk to these guys. I know, like, he's not president, so he's not going to sign anything to law, but he still can involve himself in these negotiations and see if they can get both sides to agree on something first and then move forward to more difficult matters. That's what I'm saying. Pass that stimulus check. If both sides, the House and the Senate, do agree a 1,200 stimulus check should be sent, just send it. Make it its own package separately, and then worry about everything else that are more difficult and really are tougher to negotiate going down the road again. Like, it's not that hard. You know what I mean? So, like, if I have to look at like multiple things that we want to accomplish, let's look at the thing that we can do first, the easiest part, get it out the way, and then move on and do the difficult. Like, it's not that difficult, man. Like, that's all I can say, man. I'm done. But anyways, y'all have a blessed, safe night. All right, deuces.